Hello, and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johan.
And joining us once again from the Fifth Eleminute and Unlimited Lives podcast, John Robert Wilson.
Hooray! I'm here on the radio waves inside your ear holes.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. Yet again.
Welcome to our ear holes. Enjoy your stay. I keep it clean for you.
Thanks.
But guys, we are at minute 90. Usually around the normal movies, this is the end of the movie, but we're still in the middle of it. This minute begins with Razchek asking his troopers if they want to live forever, which is a very iconic line, and ends with a lot of expelled shells coming out of Morita. So this line is, again, one of the most iconic lines of this movie. There are a few others. In the last minute, Sugar Watkins yelling bugs. But there's a ton of other stuff. Shoot you, I'll kill you myself, kind of thing like that. But I think this is the pinnacle of the movie. You definitely have, would you like to know more, all this other stuff. But would you like, come on, you apes, do you want to live forever? I think is one of the most iconic ones.
Oh, I just wanted to say that, you see the cuts of this scene in the trailer, and this is out of all the emotion and all the futuristic citizenry and all the politics and everything, this is just, a bunch of monkeys in a monkey cage fighting off a bunch of bugs, and I love it.
Yeah.
During the day, too. During the daytime,
Mm-hmm. And so he's saying this. This is a line actually from the book to "Come on, you apes, do you want to live forever?" Mostly because in the book the Marauder suits looked kind of like big giant gorillas. They had big giant hands. They didn't crawl on their knuckles or anything, but they were basically giant big apes. So that's why he did call it from that, and he also did use that from the book. Neumeier did call it from that. But the line itself is from history, from World War I. It was said during a battle of Belleau Wood by a Major General Daniel Daly. In that one, a lot of people think he said, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" But then he later told a Marine Corps historian that his words were actually, "For Christ's sakes, men, come on, don't you want to live forever?" So it's a historical term.
So wait. So does he says don't you want to live forever, or says you? Like in the movie, it says you don't want to live forever, but are they talking about in the kind of the context of if you die on the battlefield, you live forever in glory? Is that sort of what he was referring to?
That was my interpretation of it, that if you, basically, do you want to be gods? Because if you die here, you go into history books, or if you win, you'll be remembered forever. It's not necessarily that, you're never going to die type of thing, like I'm promise you eternity or eternal life, but it's just that that feel of your place in history, because he knew what this fight was going to be like.
Yeah.
I kind of had a little other connotation, a little other idea of it too. Either it was that, or it was more of a kind of like in 300 where they're talking about how a good Spartan dies on the battlefield and a bad Spartan lives in his till his later days to die in bed. Kind of like, hey, do you want to live forever? Do you want to live a long, healthy life by doing nothing, or do you want to die young and live technically forever?
Yeah, make a splash.
In the annals of history. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking Razchek is more along the lines of, yeah, do you guys want to just sit around being all willy-nilly, or do you want to, go out fighting? But then, yeah, we see the whole entire brigade. They're just running up the hill, up the ramps and along the walls, getting ready for the oncoming onslaught.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have covered this before, but man, does this CG hold up. I mean, it holds up good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this way in the beginning about this movie, that the CG holds up, but it seemed like it was this era of movies, like including Fifth Element, when you guys did it. Even the CG there holds up. It's still amazing to this day.
Yeah. The most expensive part of it was that was the cryo chamber where they rebuild her. I feel like they spent the majority of the CG budget on that scene. And I feel like now that this is in during the day, you got to remember, like, all previous battles were during night, so they could kind of get away with a little bit more a little bit less detail than they're showing here. But now, I mean, you see the bugs very clearly lit up, and then we're being introduced to new types of bugs, and this had to be the other. This scene had to be the other half of their CG budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the kind of crane shot, the boom crane shot that's going up above the walls, and then you get the second shot from the bug's perspective, looking at the outpost, and they're just running towards it, and just it's a swarm. They're swarming.
Yeah, because with that crane shot that you're talking about, when it starts to pan up, like first you see the little bit that starts rushing in, but I notice like once it starts to take its position higher up, you start to see the bugs going over the ridge and just like basically like just like falling out of like wherever they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the way that was shot.
Yeah, we don't really see any bug holes or anything. We just see them cresting hills, coming out of valleys and everything. Just kind of that whole entire thing. Like this is just an endless stream of them. They're coming out of the woodwork. And I love the next little scene at 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 30 seconds of all the troopers, loading and locking, putting in their magazines, cocking their guns, and then setting up the line of fire.
You got to have the gun cocking clip loading montage.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Because it seems like they're also getting ready with the shotgun that's on the bottom, because they're even loading that like early, like just in case they need it. So this is like a full scene. I remember seeing this scene in a theater where the bugs are coming in, and I was just feeling like really overwhelmed about what was going on. Like, because every other fight that it's been like, it's cool, it's a skirmish and all this, but this feels like an actual battle.
Yeah, this is.
I'm trying to think of other movies that have these sort of like cocking guns ready for battle, sort of very quick montages. And the only one I can think of is, what was that Weird Al movie, UHF, that he made, where he's in his he's in his dream, and he's putting on his grenade belts, his ammo racks, and he's putting like darts into it, and it shows like 3 hands loading the darts into his dart carrier instead of and then finally he puts on like a dainty set of pearls around his neck. But then he tries to get up when then he has all these cocked guns all over him, but he's got so much stuff on him that he just tips over and everything starts just going off.
I haven't watched that movie.
Yeah, wait.
I need to go back to that movie.
They did that in UHF?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they did that in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, where he loads himself up and they're watching him like, what the? Because they all bring like 1 or 2 guns, and he's like sitting there for like a minute or two, putting like 3 guns in his socks and stuff like that, and then he can't move, and then he slips on something, and every gun goes off and pretty much puts him in a hospital for it. It's been a while since I've seen UHF, and I cannot remember that scene.
We should do a watch party, you and I.
Yeah, I would like that. That is a good movie.
One other thing I can remember of like this whole entire cocking or getting stuff ready kind of comes from the bad Batman movies. The ones where he's
with
like,
the nipple shots and the butt shots.
Yeah, the nipple shots. He's putting on the belt. He's putting on everything. The cape goes over. It has that kind of like kind of thing. And yeah, you get the nipple shot.
Yeah, that one's just...
But he's getting ready.
The nipple shot is weird because it like really focuses on it a little too long, in my opinion. Because everything was quick. It was like a turn and then there, turn and then there, and it's like turn, nipple, 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 glisten.
Yeah, the guns that the Roughnecks are using, they look like just modified M16s with like a Nerf cover on them.
Yeah.
So they're actually a Ruger bullpup rifle.
Oh, okay. That's why that the chamber's so far back on the barrel. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and they did have modified flash hiders or compensators up top as well too. So some of them were functional, able to fire actual live rounds, but they mostly use blanks. And then so I think these 3 right here that are right in front of us are the live fire ones, and then the one that is kind of a little farther in the back that looks like more of a prop one that is just fully polystyrene.
Nice.
But yeah, I love the Morita looks, and actually, I think I told Johan maybe towards the very beginning of this whole entire series that we were doing that there was an auction not too far back that was for one of the prop Moritas that actually functioned, and I was planning on trying to get one, but it was $1,200.
$1,200 is still not crazy for a nice, working firearm.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. But I mean, my wife would have killed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked her specifically, "Hey, honey, can I get a prop Morita?" She's like, "How much?" I'm like, $1,200. She's like, "No." I'm like, "What if it's 600? One of the non-firings?" No. Oh, okay.
Your budget for novelty firearms is $50 a year.
Basically, I can get myself a Nerf and Strike or something, and I'll be cool. And then modify that.
Although, if you did have it, it would be cool to show up to a range with that Morita.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and this is why I love modding Fallout so much, because there is a Morita mod for Fallout 4. And I have used it. I don't like using it because it's kind of OP and everything.
So, I'm at 2940 because, a lot of the action is just a montage in this minute here. So I just kind of went ahead. So you see Sugar looking down the scope of his, and there's something
Yes.
here that I never, we kind of talked about a little bit, but now we actually get to see it in action. There is no iron sight.
Nope.
Yeah, Johnny's just
All
trying to, he's just trying to okay, let's hope this works.
Yeah, how do you aim? What do you use? Yeah, there's no way to aim it accurately.
Yeah, because also the handle is at an angle, so you can't even get to look or measure and the line on it properly because it is an angle.
I had a few ideas about this as well too, because I wasn't sure if the pulse rifle from Aliens had iron sights as well too. But I had a theory that in the future, in most of these movies, these are kind of smart guns, kind of like the Alien smart gun as well too. It kind of locks on and fires. Either that, or once you get into the service, you kind of get some kind of targeting implant or something, or targeting sensor near or around your eye. This is just theories, but to go past the we don't have iron sights.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing I noticed in that particular moment, looks like Johnny got an upgrade of a rifle. He has a shorter barrel round. Look at the muzzle; it's a little bit shorter.
Just a little bit, but I think that's the angle because he's firing towards the camera a little bit too.
I don't. Oh, you're right.
Because you can see Razchek's right there, and that one is the carbine. You can definitely tell that it has a smaller barrel on it. It's pretty much cut off at the very end.
Yeah, because I remember we were talking about that the shorter one, the carbines were for mostly we see him with more decorated soldiers. So I thought okay, he finally got the kind of like the XO type rifle, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just thought that this was a moment that we caught of full on field promotion. He got the XO rifle. That's why.
No, not yet.
Yeah. All right.
He gets it a little bit later.
Okay.
We're reminded here too, as the bugs reach the outer perimeter of the base, that death is nothing to a hive mind.
No.
Oh yeah.
There is no individual. They're clamoring to get up the wall, and they're just kind of scraping at the wall, and they're just laying them out, and green blood goo going everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a firing line massacre for the bugs, but the bugs actually, they do have the numbers for it.
And then, oh my gosh, so I got a confession to all your listeners that when Matt and Johan told me that they were doing this podcast, I was like, okay, I have to be in the minute where the flyers come in and start decapitating dudes.
That's actually going to be the next minute, because we end it pretty much right here with Johnny looking down the sights and shells expelling.
Sorry, okay, cut that
So
shit out. Cut that shit
It's
out.
okay. You gotta. No, it's okay. You just have to wait one more day, and we can do it on Wednesday.
Sounds good.
So I just there's something I noticed right at the 55-second mark. One of the gunners that's on did we establish if this was a 40 cal or 50 cal turret?
So those, as I said, those were the 50 cal Russian.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
right. Yeah.
Those were the Browning 50 cals with the Russian barrels on it.
So the guy's like trying to angle it so he can shoot at the bugs a little bit, I guess, a little bit closer to the wall. So I'm wondering if those little 2 dots over there are kind of like the sights.
I'm thinking so too. Yeah, they may be like IR sights or like night vision or something like that as well too.
Yeah, because there's also like another nozzle right there. It looks like it would shoot like a 22. Like, I'm not sure what that is. Like, did they just start adding stuff to it to make it look cool?
I think they just added stuff to it to make it look cool. Like, yeah, this is a turret. This is a big one. Kind of anti-aircraft looking, but this is... I think, honestly, they are sights.
Okay.
Just because just how we see the Warriors' armor and everything, I don't think a 22 is getting anywhere denting near that at all.
The 22 is barely enough to do any kick. Even that pistol 22 won't even kick in your hands. It would be more likely that it'd be like a gas diffuser or a temperature regulating tube or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. One of the things that I looked online, because I don't know if any of you guys played this, but there was a Starship Troopers video game that came out. I think it was for the PlayStation 1.
There was one for PC as well too. And
Yeah.
I did not play it, unfortunately. I wanted to really, really bad, but I could not find it anywhere.
But so the turret, this is like the pinnacle scene in the video game is using the turret on all these oncoming bugs. So there's a video of it online. It's just Starship Troopers first person shooter, and it is this scene where you're using the turret to mow down all the bugs as they come towards a base.
Yeah, I heard the reception to it was a little bit lackluster because the computers or the gaming consoles at the time couldn't render this many bugs. So it was the numbers in the game where I hear much less.
Oh no, yeah, it's not that great because it doesn't seem like the bugs are even there to try and beat you. The game is just to shoot down the bugs. So as they're coming into the screen, you're just knocking them down, and they're not even clumped together because it couldn't handle it. Right. So these bugs are so far apart, you just mow them down forever, and then for some reason you have to leave the base to grab like a battery or something and then run back, which is not in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Medal of Honor, the first one where you're getting on the beach in Normandy and it's just empty. And then the latest Call of Duty, you're going on the beach in Normandy again, and it looks just like, Saving Private Ryan.
Wait, are we still talking about turrets? Because which side were you playing on in the Medal of Honor?
Well, no. What I mean is like the lack of enemies and the lack of stuff on the game and the current stuff. So like in the first Medal of Honor, you go on the beach and there's a tank in play or a tank trap mine or something like that, and then there's a few people, but there's like hardly anyone there. Maybe 2 or 3 soldiers running up.
Yeah. Okay. I thought like you were still shooting down the turret and like hardly anybody's like coming in. And I was wait, were you playing the Germans? Like
the limitations of video games back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that scene because you would do the pipe bombs to clear out like a trench or something like that.
Yeah. That game was pretty much the very beginning part was Saving Private Ryan, the video game.
Yeah. That was a fun game though.
It was. But that's really where our minute ends, guys. Do you have anything else you want to say, Johan?
No, I'm just excited. These are great minutes that we have here.
Yeah, they're exciting. John Robert, do you have anything else you want to talk about this particular minute?
I'm good.
All right, well, let's get on to our Wednesday episode next Wednesday. I'm sorry, this Wednesday.
What? All right.
What?
You want to try that again, or you want to keep that in?
I'm going to keep... No, Well, let's get on to our Wednesday episode this coming up Wednesday, guys. Thank you so much for coming again, JR. Where can they find you?
You can find me on the internet on Twitter at John Robert Wilso, and me and my wife do another podcast or just finished it called The Fifth Eleminute, where we more or less talk about the movie The Fifth Element in the same format as this, 1 minute at a time. Check it out at www.thefiftheleminute.com or on iTunes. And also there's a video game podcast called Unlimited Lives Radio. Check that out on iTunes as well.
One of my favorite minutes that you guys did for Fifth Eleminute is where you were trying to do your interpretation of Ruby Rod's intro. That's like one of my favorites, where all of you took a turn trying to do it.
Mine was the when you guys were trying to, they make cells, which includes, bombarded with UV rays, which makes skin react. Blah, blah, blah. I can't even do it, but you all guys do it, and then Crystal did it perfectly.
Yeah, and we had the music in the background too.
Exactly,
forcing it to grow skin. Oh man, I remember that. I forgot about that.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, that one was my favorite minute. Obviously, that was Matt's. But those, go check them out, guys. That was such a good cover of the Fifth Eleminute.
It really was.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Johan, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. You guys can find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johan.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere else on the internet, from Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere on there like that as well too. You guys can follow the show itself at The Roughneck Min on Twitter, MIN. You can go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any past episodes or show notes. And you can also continue the conversation and talk about your favorite Morita or how much you're willing to spend on a prop Morita at The Roughneck Minute Billet on our Facebook group. Guys can also subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Google Play, or any other podcast you guys can find as well, too. I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
I've been your other host, Johan.
And I've been the guest, John Robert Wilson.
And we will see you on the Bounce Troopers.